I got invited to come on a podcast, and we finally did the episode last night. So right after we recorded, I got a message from my closest friend, and he sends me this. You get this? And here's the caption. You are trying to get food at Egypt, but the guy on the throne looks suspiciously like your brother, whom you sold to slavery many years ago. When I saw this, something about it didn't register with me, but I felt like I knew what was being referenced here. I just didn't know specifically. And then I finally remembered. There was something androgynous about somebody who I studied, but I didn't want to be that guy to call him feminine. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see from the picture I put on the screen, you see it's a dude, by the way, okay? Is she just a feminine looking dude? And he's telling them about the cosmic interpretation. You can tell this guy plays a Maury, listens to loud femboy SoundCloud rappers. He's the type of dude to have lights all up in the ceiling in his room. You know how femboys and e-girls love that dreamy aesthetic? Oh my God, stars are so symbolic to my mysterious, beautiful, and wonderful ways. Just like stars, I love dreams because I sleep all day due to my sad e-boy or sad e-girl depression. Listen, I ain't hating, I feel you. Half of my songs, I reference stars and sleeping. Hey, I'm rocking with it too. I'm just not a femboy. Here's another picture. This is a picture of bro being tossed into a giant hole. This is how some of y'all, unfortunately, it's sad because some of y'all be looking at people from behind this way, except your face first and going like, and as you can see, again, a very feminine looking dude. These thigh-high socks didn't exist back in then. You know what I'm saying? You can't wear thigh-high socks back in the day. But if it did, wouldn't it be obvious this dude would be wearing them? He's wearing open-toed sandals. Yo, come on. This dude walks around wearing gladiator sandals, bro. It's obvious. And look, this is all okay. If that's his style, let it be. But maybe this was the first femboy in history. So Aku, what is this picture really about that your friend sent you, right? And like showing all these other pictures, who is this guy you're talking about here? Well, let's step into cosmic pluralism for this. About 2000 BC, around that time period, and take that time period with a grain of salt, because I know some people are going to be very, because the Bible thinks the earth is 6,000 years old. So the timeline is, in reality, is probably messed up. But follow me here, follow me. This dude named Joseph, ever since he was born, he was such an avid dream interpreter. His dreams were so vivid. It was so detailed to the people who he explained it to. He spoke about the sun, the moon, the stars, how the universe and the cosmos worked. Every dream he had was so magnificent. This dude was sleeping amongst the stars, metaphorically speaking. He had such a high degree of insight about what other people and their dreams were talking about that people thought he was gifted. He was gaining so much popularity and love amongst people for his, quote, gift, that his family, specifically his brothers, were like, yo, this dude, our bro right here, is either full of it or he's lying. Or rather, he's probably just an attention seeker. This gift, it's not really a gift. He's just trying to be the smartest in the room. So this is his own brothers, his family, becoming jealous of him. This is all over dream interpretations. In chapter 37 of Genesis, it says, Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. He said to them, listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out of the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it. Now, here's a picture of what he's referring to if you don't understand, right? Look on the screen. He said this is one of his dreams. This comes off a bit arrogant, in my opinion. If you remember the Bible verse I just said, it comes off like he's trying to assert his authority. Wouldn't you feel this way? Oh, I had a dream that the work you guys put in, it bowed down to my work. Like, bro, these are just objects here. Like literally and figuratively, bro, are you drunk or something? Who are you talking to? You trying to make yourself look better than us or something? Like, we got to worship you? And keep this dream in mind, because it foreshadows later on about bowing down. So pause, right? So his brothers, after hearing this dream of his, they say, hey, they talk amongst themselves. They say, hey, listen, we're done with Joseph. This guy is delusional. He's arrogant. And, we should probably plan a way to end his life. Rather, let's throw him in a pit and leave him there. Let's not directly end this guy's life, but we'll maybe humble him like that. Just throw him in a pit. And that explains this picture here of Joseph, the dreamy femboy with gladiator sandals, being tossed into a hole that looks unescapable. So yes, this did happen. His brothers crept up on him. They jumped him, stomped him out. Some people say that they stripped him naked. Listen, I'm not really I'm not really sure about that part because I don't see how that helps the story. It's kind of excessive more than anything. It says in verse 23, they stripped him of his robe. Okay, so like this isn't modern fashion here, people. He was wearing nothing under those robes probably. He obviously wasn't wearing undies or something. It's 2000 BC. People were butt naked with robes on for the most part. Yes, loincloth did exist, but like, I don't know. I think this detail is so unnecessary in the Bible. See how I'm spending so much time on it? Anyway, let's say, this is wild, but it's in the Bible. Let's say his own brothers stripped him naked after beating him up, okay? That's super sus, but it's family matters, y'all, okay? Beating him up, punch him, stomp him down, they just took his pants off, all right? But they throw him in the pit after. And again, conspire to make sure he doesn't see the light of day ever again. He's going to die down there of starvation or something. And after this happens, this is how messed up and insensitive his brothers were and jealous. Yo, they throw him in the pit. They sit like 20 feet next to the pit eating a full-blown meal. Literally, they start a whole picnic next to the hole they threw him in. You can't even trust your family out here. Now, during this picnic, one of the brothers of Joseph, who helped throw him in the pit, named Reuben, who happens to be his oldest brother, tells the other brothers, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. Rather, let's just rescue him later. You know what I'm saying? He's still a little bro. You know what I'm saying? We be kind of being petty right now. And the other brothers are like, I don't know, because if we rescue him, he's going to snitch. And then we're going to get in trouble. And then our lives are at risk. Reuben is confused by this. Like, yo, we got to take accountability. I'm the oldest brother. I have the most wisdom. Listen to what I'm saying. We got to take accountability for our actions. So he just says whatever. He's fed up or whatever. So he gets up and I assume he leaves to the town to get rope or something to help bring his brother up, to Joseph up from the pit. It doesn't specify where he went in the Bible. He just disappears from the picnic, okay? There's a little plot missing in the Bible here. But Reuben does, I assume, he gets up and leaves for some reason, okay? Now, as the other brothers are still enjoying their picnic and Reuben leaves and Joseph is still yelling for help inside of the pit he was thrown into, a caravan that is traveling to Egypt starts passing them. And one of the brothers, specifically his name was Judah, Judah says, as he sees the caravan from a distance, hey, yo, you guys with the caravan. And he tells the traders on the caravan, listen, you traveling to Egypt? Oh, How much do you guys want for a slave? And the traders tell them the price. And they agree. So the brothers pull Joseph out of the pit and then sell him to the trader. You know how much Joseph was sold for? 20 pieces of silver. Your own brothers trade your life to slavery for 20 pieces of silver, cuh? All the traders on the caravan take Joseph, traveling straight to Egypt. Reuben, the older brother who left, he comes back, sees his brothers missing. And then he sees Joseph is missing from the pit. And he starts screaming in anger because he planned to rescue Joseph, but he's gone now. So the traders end up making it to Egypt and they sell him to a man named Potiphar, I'll say Potiphar, right? Who was the captain of the Pharaoh's guard. Now Joseph, as the servant of the captain Potiphar, he's actually a really good slave. Hey, femboy slavery, what can I say? It's all up in the Bible, okay? And Joseph was such a good slave. Potiphar decides to actually make him in charge of the entire household. Basically, Joseph is now managing the entire estate. Dude owns a mansion at this point. Well, he doesn't own it, but he is managing the entire mansion at this point. He's basically a stay-home maid who is security and handles everything related to the house. Now, this is why you can't trust these thoughts. This dude, Joseph, who was so good at being a slave, Potiphar's wife Potiphar's wife, she's bending over the kitchen sink. She starts acting a little freaky, Joseph, I'm stuck under the bed. Help me. The mattress is on top of me. And, half of her body is sticking out, her lower body, know what I'm talking about. Like, hey, I'm not trying to get into details here, but Potiphar's wife, she wanted to get down with Joseph. And she really wanted to make Joseph clap them cheeks in reality. And Joseph is such a man of God. He rejects every advance. Interpret that how you want to, okay? Joseph might be rolling around with the zesty femboys out here. I don't know why. He rejected someone's hot wife, okay? Whatever. But this thought, she gets so thirsty for Joseph. She tries to grab his cloak, try to take his clothes off. And Joseph is like, stop, a woman is touching me, so scary. And he runs away from her. And Potiphar's wife is so angry at being rejected, even after, if you don't understand, she was clearly trying to assault him by forcibly grabbing his cloak and taking his clothes off. You know what I'm saying? She was the aggressor here. But she goes to Potiphar and says, husband, Joseph, our slave, he tried to assault me. He tried to rip my clothes off and force himself on me. Even though that's a full-blown lie. She was the one trying to do that to him. Completely false accusation. You can't trust these thoughts. And Potiphar is like, what? Huh? My own slave is trying to sleep and force himself on my wife? That's it. Imprison him. And Joseph gets thrown in jail. Now, as Joseph is in this jail, he is still tapped into his dreamy interpretation side. So he's there like meditating, and as he's sleeping, he's interpreting his dreams on his own time. And while he's jailed, he ends up being jailed with two people, a cupbearer and a baker. A cupbearer is somebody who serves wine to royal people at like dinner and stuff. It's considered a high ranking position in royal court. So Joseph, while being in jail with these two, has a dream one night, and he says to the cupbearer, I had a dream that you will be restored to your position in 3 days. Then he tells the baker, in my next dream, baker, it was revealed to me, you will be executed in 3 days. 3 days go by. The cupbearer gets his job back, and the baker is executed. The event unfolded exactly how the dreams were explained. And right before the cupbearer gets released and goes to work with the Pharaoh again, Joseph tells him, please tell the Pharaoh about my gift. And the cupbearer says, I promise, I'll tell the Pharaoh about you. So since the baker is dead now, right? He got executed. I don't know what he did, how a baker got arrested. I don't know. Maybe he poisoned something. I don't know. And the cupbearer is back working for the Pharaoh. The cupbearer ends up meeting the Pharaoh again, face to face, and completely forgets about Joseph. Remember, he made a promise to Joseph to tell the Pharaoh about him? He forgot. Now, for the next 2 years, Joseph remains in jail. His life is miserable if you really think about this. First, his brothers betrayed him and sold him as a slave. And then some female falsely accused him after trying to aggress on him first. So that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? But one day, again, 2 years later, the Pharaoh starts having disturbing dreams. The Pharaoh is having nightmares back to back. He's scared to sleep because of how bad his nightmares are. And none of the magicians of the Pharaoh can interpret his dreams or understand why this is happening to him. But the cupbearer is like, Pharaoh, you're having bad dreams. Wait. I remember 2 years ago when I was in jail, this guy named Joseph, he was able to interpret dreams. Oh, he told me to talk to you about it. Oh, I completely forgot. 2 years ago about this guy. He's still in there. So Joseph gets summoned by the Pharaoh after the cupbearer recommends him. And the Pharaoh tells Joseph about the dreams. The first dream that the Pharaoh has or mentions is 7 healthy cows being devoured by 7 unhealthy and starving cows. Weird, right? The second dream is 7 ears of grain, and which this is what he's on the screen right now. This is what that's referring to right now. 7 ears of grain, right? He says in the dream, the second dream, 7 ears of grain are swallowed by 7 withering ears of grain. Very weird. This Pharaoh is dreaming about cows eating each other and healthy grains being destroyed. But, dreams tend to be wild anyway and chaotic. So after sharing this, Joseph interprets these dreams and says, this is a divine warning. 7 years of abundance will be followed by 7 years of severe famine. He's basically saying, even though Egypt is prospering right now, it's going to fall apart. Joseph then advises the Pharaoh to appoint someone to oversee the surplus grain so he could prepare for the famine. So Joseph is basically giving advice to the Pharaoh right here about this dream interpretation, because he says it's going to be a famine soon. And the Pharaoh is so impressed by Joseph's wisdom that he decides to remove him from jail and appoint him as the second in command of Egypt, giving him authority over the whole land, rags to riches, literally. Now, remember, his prophecies of his dreams ended up being accurate. This guy is a professional dream interpreter, but his dreams are also, the events inside of it actually come true. So in about 7 years, when the famine strikes and the hunger crisis is rampant, Egypt was prepared. They were affected by the famine, but they were prepared thanks to Joseph's dream interpretations. Unfortunately, though, the surrounding areas or regions were not. There's a massive hunger strike going on all around right now, not just Egypt, all around. So, but again, Egypt was prepared thanks to Joseph's dream interpretation. And people from other regions knew Egypt was a safe spot because of this. It still had resources. So Egypt became a major trade spot. Now, one day, a group of people traveled to Egypt to buy grain from them. In that group of people, Joseph sees them and he recognizes his brothers. Oh, look at this, y'all. My brothers who sold me to slavery have come to Egypt to buy grain as their region and their area suffers from hunger. But Joseph, being second in command of Egypt and now has riches on him, his brothers don't recognize him. He's wearing jewelry. He's wearing his little pharaoh, a pharaoh commander thing. What, I don't know what these Egyptians were wearing like that. I don't know the exact names, but he's this dude looking all dressed up and stuff. They don't recognize Joseph, but hey, Joseph recognizes them because they still broke out here and wearing their robes and rags. You know what I'm saying? And again, Joseph is looking and living different now. So Joseph, being bitter about seeing his brothers, decides to accuse them of being spies. And as a result, one of the brothers, Simon, gets imprisoned. And Joseph says to the rest of the travelers, listen, you guys are spies, even though he's falsely accusing them. You guys are spies. Bring your other brother, Benjamin. Bring him here to prove you guys are not spies. And you guys are being honest here. So Simon's still in prison. The rest of his brothers go and get Benjamin. And Joseph has somebody secretly plant a silver cup inside of Benjamin's bag. And then Joseph then accuses Benjamin of stealing, even though the cup was planted on him, right? And Joseph threatens to enslave Benjamin. And remember the person or the brother who decided to come up with the whole idea of selling Joseph to the caravan as a slave? Judah. Judah is like, after hearing about Benjamin potentially being enslaved for stealing a cup, which he never really did, Judah is like, please, no, take me instead, not Benjamin. We only came here because we're hungry and we need grains. We didn't steal. Just take me instead, not my brother Benjamin. Joseph is puzzled by this. Judah, the selfish brother who plotted against him out of jealousy and sold him to slavery, actually cares about people? His own family? His own brothers? And this makes Joseph feel emotional. Did Judah change? Is he not the same cold-hearted person anymore? Remember, they don't know this is Joseph. However, Joseph, overwhelmed by tears, seeing how Judah is acting now, many years later, then Joseph reveals his identity to them. And Joseph says, he forgives his brothers for what they did to him. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that. If you went through everything Joseph went through, the jealousy, hate, slavery, could you even forgive someone for that? But this man, Joseph, was betrayed by his own family and suffered also false accusations. And he was in prison for like 2 years, right? But then is given one of the highest roles in Egypt under the Pharaoh. He is living in prosperity for the rest of his life. So people interpret this whole story about Joseph, this journey that Joseph went through. It illustrates the importance of patience through difficult times. Yes, many people did Joseph wrong. Absolute fact. But he never crashed out. He never quit. He stayed consistent to who he was, and he was rewarded for that. This guy, Joseph, consistently acted with integrity. Besides when he became Pharaoh and he planted some stuff. But I get it, he's mad, you know what I'm saying? But besides that, he acted with integrity. Remember, he refused to smash that dude's wife after numerous advances. He never switched up. But again, he has understandable anger towards those who hurt him in the past, as many of you guys do as well, right? I'm mad at people who hurt me in the past, and it still lingers with me. But another moral of the story here is that sometimes, even when you do end up in a better place and leave people in the past, it's challenging and difficult to forgive. And think about it like this. You can blame other people all you want for what happened to you, because evidently people will do you wrong in life, accuse you, betray you, lie to you, etc. But if you can't, you can't let this allow you to get thrown off track, because you got to stay true to who you are, preserve who you are. And if you believe in God or have faith in general, right? If you stick to who you are and you learn to forgive and or forget people from your past, maybe God made them leave your life because you have something better to deal with, or you should be around other people who are better suited for you. Maybe you're put in that situation for a reason. As they say, God works in mysterious ways, or God puts you in situations that God believes you can handle. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're destined for something else, that these people from your past weren't on the same path as you. And that's part of life. That happens, Again, life puts you in situations that maybe you could handle this whole time. That's why you're put in that situation. You're meant to overcome it. That's how I interpret this story. So going all the way back to this meme and to wrap up this video, that's what this meme means. Yes, they were trying to get food from Egypt, and the guy on the throne looks suspiciously like your brother who you sold to slavery many years ago. The end. This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Times Square.
Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. Wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken.